But here I show up in Southwest Florida, exposed to all kinds of nonsense, violence, drugs, just a ghetto, if you will. Granted, we were middle class. We didn't live in the ghetto, but we were right on the outskirts of the ghetto. And wouldn't you know, lo and behold, it wasn't long and I started getting pushed around. And I don't care who you are, where you're from, how wholesome your upbringing was. The more that happens, everybody comes to a breaking point. And it didn't take me long because I was always kept to myself, minded my own business. So, it was all new to me there. And once that started, it's like I experienced some real hate from these people. You know what I mean? I was always being pushed around, being bullied. So saying that, Michael, to say I took some courage, whether it was the right, wrong, or indifferent thing to do, and I found myself in a street gang.
Wow.
At 15 years old, I'm enlisted. Well, I didn't jump right in at 15. I ran around with them for a while, but before long, I became enlisted in one of the most violent Hispanic street gangs in the country at 16.
Yeah.
So I says, "Hey, Ma, I joined a gang."
Right.
And I was a handful. I was getting into drugs. I was getting into nonsense, all because I didn't know how to act. I didn't know how to cope with what I was experiencing at that point in my life. So the drugs, the alcohol, the party scene, running around with these real tough guys, if you will. They were from Chicago. They were legitimate. These guys would kill you. And here I am in the midst. I says, "Hey, Ma," because I was always that type to I'll show them or I'll show you or whoever.